They assemble at night, each one having prepared as diligently as possible to the time given to them before the witching hour, the hour of reckoning, the time when they begin outdoor cartoon television. Stray Casts is on the air.
Fish it out.
America has spoken. The votes are in. It's Wednesday night. Let's raise those bets and see what salutes. This is Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. Yeah! Woo! That's how we do it. That's how we do it. I'm Pat Renwick right here. We're up against the president. There's some kind of presidential debate or something on tonight, I've been informed, and a game by the Chicago Cubs tonight. That's what we're up against tonight. But it is Sweeps Week, and we have another amazing show worked up for you tonight. First up, at 7:10, we have FLW Tour Pro, host of the Bass Doctor television show, and Kentucky Lake Demon, Jason Lambert. Yeah! Wow. Woo! Hell yeah.
Chips are loud tonight.
That's very loud tonight.
Your mic is hot.
It's hot as hell.
Yeah.
It's like that Kiss song. Detroit.
Which one?
Detroit Rock City.
That's hot as hell?
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely it was. Hey, coming up at 7:30, Bassmaster Elite Series superstar and all-around badass, Jason Christie. Yeah. Jason Christie. Jason Christie coming on. At the 8 o'clock hour, our old buddy from Greenwood, Indiana, FLW Tour Pro, Bill McDonald. Yeah.
Yep.
Woo. That's the deal. That's the deal. Hey, all the way over here to my left, this cat, you might call him the Southside. Whoa. You might call him the Southside. Sturgeon stabber?
Yes, that's it.
The Southside Sturgeon Stabber or the Southside Smallmouth Samurai.
I've changed my ways.
Or Darbronzian.
The cigar slipper.
Esquatro. Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Bergeron. Bobby B. Yeah. Bobby B. Bobby B.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy here. Right over here, to my left. This is the artist formerly known as Catman. This is Johannes Petro. Hi, America's birthday boy, JP. Hi. Oh my God.
What's up?
Happy birthday, JP.
Thank you.
Let's pretend it's yesterday.
Okay, cool.
Let's even pretend it's tomorrow morning.
JP is Scottie Pippen years old.
He is.
Yes.
That's very good. And right over here, I bring to you this dude. He caught the biggest smallmouth ever caught out of Lake Michigan on the rocks in Chicago by a dude with a kick-ass red beard. This is Ryan Popcorn Whitaker. This is Ryan
Hello.
Popcorn Whitaker. This is the popcorn. You caught a giant, seriously, all kidding aside, you caught a giant smallmouth today.
Yeah,
I mean,
my
just
biggest
a tank.
ever.
It's a choo-choo Slubberdigolian Fatty Magoo.
Yeah, man, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I don't even. It's still setting in, kind of. I've been waiting to catch a 6-pounder for like 14 years, and finally got it.
And you thought you
Confirmed.
were snagged. You thought you were snagged.
Thought I was snagged.
You're like, yeah, I thought I was snagged. I
Hey,
felt a little
I
nibble.
think I got something.
Felt a little nibble.
It feel like a leaf?
It really did feel like a leaf. No, you know what it actually felt like? It felt like a garbage bag full of water with a dead dog in it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm
If
quite
I had to
familiar
really
with that
narrow it
feeling.
down. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you've caught that on that spot you call dead dog.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right by Blue Balls.
Yes.
That-
right
by that
Blue-
spot, too.
That's coined by J.P. Kitty, right?
That's the cat
Blue Balls.
man. That's Johannes Petros.
Yes.
Yes.
But no, yeah, it really did feel like a snag. I was on the phone with you. You know that. I was like, yeah.
You're
yeah.
like, oh, I think I got one, and I'm like, you probably just got a goggle eye, dude. And you're like, oh yeah, that's right. I ain't got one. I'm like, dude, I got one. It's a big one. I'm like, I better let you go, dude. Why don't you take care of business?
Gotta go.
You were hard at work.
Yeah. No, it was awesome, man. I don't know. Kind of probably not the weakest fight of a big bass I've had, but just the weirdest fight. You know, I just didn't do anything. It just stayed down there. He just wanted to stay down there, so he kind of stayed down there.
But think about it. Think about it. A 6-pound plus smallmouth out of Lake Michigan. A lot of people watching in other parts of the
not
country.
special out of Lake Michigan, but in Chicago, it's special.
Yes, in
They
Chicago.
catch them in Sturgeon Bay. They catch them
Illinois,
in Michigan.
basically
Yeah,
in
in
Illinois.
yeah.
You know, I mean, you missed the state record in Illinois by how much?
4 ounces.
By 4 ounces. Missed it by that much. 4 ounces.
It was a near miss.
4 ounces. 4 ounces.
That's 2 gobies.
Petro.
What'd you catch it on, Ryan?
I hate to say this, but I caught it on a tube.
A tube.
A tube?
It did have a jig head that I poured inside it, so I guess there's that.
There was a tightrope jig head inside.
It was a tightrope jig head inside. Yeah, it was a tightrope jig wrapped in a tube.
Oh,
That's what it was.
That deadly.
Yeah.
It was that
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit of extra weight.
It was.
That
And
did
you
it.
know, I was throwing the jig, and I just had a stupid color combination because I didn't have all my stuff. I had a bad trailer to match the jig. I'm colorblind too, so who knows? It might have been good.
Yeah, it could
But
have
I
been.
wasn't feeling it, so in my other pocket, I had a bag of tubes.
Just
And
happened to have a bag
never
of tubes.
throw tubes.
We thought you were just happy to see Chicago.
It's honestly one of the first times I've thrown a tube in years.
So,
and I was
was-
kind of upset.
Was this fish more special than the bag of weed you caught?
Yeah, it was.
Out of Lake
It
Michigan?
was. It was. That bag of weed was that was pretty cool.
Did
though.
it fight harder?
No, it didn't at all.
Did it smell the
It
same?
felt like a bag. I didn't get a whiff of this guy or girl, I should say. But I don't know. She was a little lazy, so she might have been chiefing.
You should have donated it to the Shed Aquarium,
Is that right?
and they could have grown into Illinois state record proportions.
Well, I know where it's at, and it's gonna sit there and grow. So I'm going back
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Imagine if
I
this
mean-
was spawning time.
Oh, man.
Holy cow!
Well, I mean, I don't know how much bigger it could have been. I mean, the thing was filled out, head to toe.
It
Had
was
the tail.
gorged.
It was gorged. I mean, it didn't have the big old pot belly, but it was just, its tail was like 3 inches thick, like its
Like a
tail
s- a
section.
Brick.
It was a brick. Yeah.
Well-
I mean, the old saying, the football. I don't think it looked like a football. It looked more like a square.
Like a frying pan,
It was like rectangular.
like a sockeye.
Yes. Yes.
Do you think that it ate the goat and the Cubs are going to win tonight?
Absolutely. That was a sign.
That was
actually.
a sign.
It was a sign. I
know-
mean, yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Wish you guys could have been there.
Me too.
We also got to congratulate Ryan on his win out on the Lake Michigan Open out of the Cal Sag.
Yeah. The
Oh, yeah.
TJ, Thanks, Bobby.
You know, Ryan donated all that money back to TJ's family as well. It was a memorial tournament
They
for
deserve
TJ
it.
Sportsman. Everybody gave their money back who won, straight to his wife.
Yeah, TJ was
That's a
a great
good
guy.
thing.
Loved tournament fishing. His wife was there. His kids were there. And banners and all that stuff. Good day. It was a pretty dynamic tournament, wouldn't you say? I mean,
Ran away with it.
Yeah.
a lot of the guys, I would say we were in the Cal Sag, so it was one in there, and I honestly, going into it, my boat's not in great shape. I didn't want to go on the big lake, and I thought we were going to get whooped by you guys going on the big lake, but we got on some good fish. And
Lo and
turns out
behold.
it was tough out there too. That helped.
Lo and
That helped a
behold.
lot.
Lo and behold.
But,
Hey, Stray Cats Outdoor Cartoon Television. More popcorn stories coming up later, but stay tuned. Don't you go nowhere. When we get back, FLW Touring Pro, Jason Lambert, right here.
Where do you go for all the hard-to-find Japanese domestic tackle? Lee's Global Tackle, the connection for all the hottest baits and lures straight from Japan. Lee's Global Tackle has 2 locations, the main store in Elk Grove Village, Illinois, and our other store in Carroll Stream, Illinois. Stop in at Lee's Global Tackle and meet John Moy. He'll show you some of the coolest baits not available anywhere else. Catering secret tournament winning baits to the fishing community for over 17 years, Lee's Global Tackle.
I wish there was a jig that I could flip, swim, and drag with.
You need dem jigs.
Yeah, I do need them jigs.
Not them jigs, dem jigs.
Oh!
Custom hooks, hand-tied living rubber skirts, and an indestructible chip-proof head. Available in both football and the flip swim style. Jigs built out of a necessity for the serious fisherman. Like Them Jigs on Facebook or order online at demjigs.com. That's DEM jigs.com.
Slayer Reel Tuning is Chicagoland's #1 reel tuning expert. Whether you need your reel tuned up, souped up, or basic maintenance, Ben Botcher, the Reel Slayer from SlayerReelTuning.com, has your reel needs covered. Ben is the official reel tuner of Stray Casts, and he can customize your reel to your exact specifications, like new ball bearings, drag washers, clean reels, and the latest and greatest handles. When it comes to reels, go to the best and contact Ben, the Reel Slayer, and get your reel tuned to perfection and back in no time. Go to the website, SlayerReelTuning.com. That's SlayerReelTuning.com.
Well, I'm running and gone and a little bit of crazy. Got half drunk on the day they made me. I don't know why. I guess it's in my genes. Well, I'm running and gone and a little bit of shady. Got half stoned on the day they made me. I don't know why. I guess I'm dangerous and mean. You better look out, baby. Honey, better watch out. Look out, baby.
Welcome back, Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm Pat Renwick. It's time for a little Bassin Roundtable with our buddy, the old Tennessee Long Snake, FLW Tour Pro, and Bass Doctor. Let's give it up for Jason Lambert. Jason Lambert. Yeah, Jason. What's up, dude?
Hey, dude, we're over in East Tennessee going to fish a little derby starting in the morning at Norris Lake. So, it's Tennessee fishing. It's not necessarily West Tennessee fishing. It's going to be just a little bit different than what we're used to. But just hanging out, man. Glad to be with y'all.
Yeah, same here, man. What, you over in the hotel right now? A little hotel madness?
Man, we're hanging out in the hotel. Actually been a little rush this afternoon. We went down to UT Knoxville, go Vols, by the way, and hung out with our fishing team for a couple hours this afternoon and get up here to hang some time with y'all, and we'll lay down, sleep a little, and try to catch them tomorrow.
And knock them out in the morning. That's what you do.
That's the plan.
I mean, and that's what you do. You first of all, you're pretty new at the deal. You know, I mean, you came around the scene 2014 full time on the FLW Tour, Rookie of the Year, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You had an amazing 2014 year. Tell us about it, dude. Tell me about that.
You know, it was good. I mean, there was a lot of lakes that were familiar to me as well. I mean, we've been to Okeechobee many times with the Coastal Series back in the day, and you know, fished Hartwell fished pretty good for me. Pickwick and Kentucky both were on the schedule, so it worked out good. I mean, it was a good year, good solid finishes, and you know, I drew 6 out of 7 checks counting the cup that year. So you know, it was just a good solid performance, and you know, missed that win at Kentucky by just a pound and a couple ounces, but you know, that was a great year, good way to get it started, and you know, 3 years later, we're still out here trying to make a living, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing it though. I mean, the fact is that you're doing it, and I saw you not too long ago on that fancy television set, just knocking them out on Kentucky Lake, dude, bringing home the W for everybody. That was awesome. What an awesome derby.
Man, that lake's got a special place to me, dude. I've fished there a lot in the last 6 or 8 years, and got a good friend of mine, Rick Kelly, up there. Come stay at his place and hang out, and we'll just go fish. And I used to do it more, but we get so busy with the schedule now. I don't get up there as much as I would like to. But that lake is, it suits my style fishing. I love power fishing, and growing up at Pickwick and getting to fish, the ledge stuff since I was a kid, it's kind of right in my wheelhouse too. And I enjoy it, man. That was an awesome week, and gosh, what can you say about a 29-pound day? I mean, it was freaking awesome.
Nuts. Now you are a ledge monkey. There's no doubt about it. I mean, people come. They're like knocking at your door at like 3 a.m. looking for ledge fishing advice. Is that true or what? I mean, it happens.
It is, and it's funny. We were down at UT earlier, and they had their whole team was there, like 25 guys from the UT fishing team, and it's funny how all the conversation ends up going towards ledge fishing and electronics and all that kind of stuff, and it's kind of like that mythical creature to a lot of folks. They don't get to do it. Even you guys up in Indiana and Kyle and everybody up there, y'all fish offshore, but it's just different. It's just a different type of fishing. And, down here, growing up doing it, it's just, there's an art to it, really. It's just everybody's always had the knack of throwing at a bush or, at a dock or at a target. And you're sitting out in the middle of the lake and there's nothing to throw at, and it just blows people away. And,
it's intimidating. It is.
It is, and it's a big water. I mean, Kentucky Lake's huge, man. It's it's ever how many 100,000 acres it is. It's 160 miles long or whatever, and there's so much water, and you're sitting, half a mile from anything out in the middle of the lake. I mean, we're actually throwing at a target, but you just can't see it. You just got to know it's there, and you do that with electronics. So I enjoyed it, man. It was an awesome week, and I can't say enough about how good it was.
So, I mean, a lot of people have a misconception of ledges, myself included, until our buddy Kyle Prescallo kind of educated me on what he actually learned from you. And I always pictured a ledge as like, Indiana Jones shit, where you're going to fall over the ledge and you're done,
Yeah.
But a ledge is more or less a hump, isn't it, on Kentucky Lake, or a high spot?
It's a high spot. I mean, and what happens is a lot of guys go out there and they do like Indiana Jones and they fall over the spot because it blows them away.
You can use that one, by the way. No problem.
Yeah. But it's, it is a high spot, and it could be an intersection of a creek channel. It can be a shell bed. It's basically anything that's on that ledge that's different than everything else around it. It's got to be a current break or something there that make the bait fish hang there. And hey, we don't go to Applebee's just to go to Applebee's. We go there to eat, and that's the reason them fish are where they're at.
And hot Tennessee waitresses. I mean, that's why we go to Applebee's.
That's pretty cool. I was down at UT just a couple hours ago. College girls. I mean, they weren't Applebee's, but it was pretty impressive.
Were you like that movie Old School? It was like, Jason Lambert goes back to school. Remember that?
I was looking for a house there on campus because that thought crossed my mind, and you and Kyle could come down and we could party. But
dude, I'm in.
I didn't find one that suited me, so we're good.
Yeah. Well, when you find one, you let me know. You don't got to ask me 3 times, dude. I'm in.
And plus, my wife would kill me, so there you go.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. we don't want to do that to you.
No.
Hey, now I know that there's a lot of guys in this area getting ready to go to Bobby Bergeron right here. Say hi to Bobby B. He's the Southside
Hey, Bobby,
Smallmouth
what's up,
Samurai.
bud?
Hey, Jason.
He's getting ready to go to Kentucky Lake for a big derby for the Anglers Stream tournament.
Yes, Tournament of the Champions.
Tournament of Champions on Kentucky Lake. Well, give me some advice. Give him some advice. Give all the viewers some advice about that lake right now.
Well, this time of year, it's a little bit different. I mean, that ledge deal is, it's really strong from, typically May till July or August. And then those fish make the migration back with the bait. I mean, it's back to the food source. Those shad go to the pockets. They go shallow in the wintertime because the water's temperatures are just so much more comfortable for them there. But, that lake this time of year is the ultimate topwater lake. It is one of the most fun places to go throw a spook or, whatever topwater you like to throw. It has the potential to be one of the most epic topwater days you can have. And that lake's got great big ones in it. And
yeah.
It's there's so much water there. Again, it's intimidating, but a lot of them shallow bars and, the grass is terrible this year. There's not even grass down south. Usually that's a huge player in the fall there, but this year, it's going to more than likely be about, the lipless rattle baits and stuff like that and the topwater. And there's so many shallow bars there. I mean, you can find a school. The funny thing is, in the fall, they'll school up there just like they do in the summertime, but they're on 3 feet, humps instead of 25 feet humps.
Gotcha. The fall is, the fall can be one of the most rewarding times to fish, but it can also be one of the most frustrating times to fish. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that it's basically weather dependent. I mean, I know you're going through something serious or similar to that on Norris, the derby you're getting ready for tomorrow.
Well, it is, and a lot of times in the fall, down south. I mean, I know up north it triggers fish when it gets cold. I mean, I was just in Minnesota a couple weeks ago on Mille Lacs and Brainerd doing some filming for the Bass Doctor, and we had that cold front up there, and it triggers those fish. Winter's coming, the clock's ticking, and here it is 88 degrees today. Water temperatures are still 73 to 75, and there just hasn't been that trigger to get it going. And it's that transition time. It's when they're not deep, they're not shallow, they're somewhere in between. And man, it can get some of these fall lakes, especially in the south. If there's not grass involved, it can be a really tough outing, and that's what we're looking at the next couple of days here at Norris. It's I've heard guys talking about practicing for 3 days and caught one keeper, or one keeper a day kind of stuff. It's going to be an interesting deal here this week, and that's I guess that's why they call it fishing and not catching.
Yeah. You're not sandbagging, right? You aren't sandbagging. You're telling us the truth.
No, I'm not sandbagging. I got a couple deals that could work. I don't know. I mean, when it's this tough, you don't really lean on anything. You try to get a bite or two and leave it alone. So I don't know. I mean, dude, if I catch 5 tomorrow, I'm going to be ecstatic. I'm buying drinks. Nice. So we're good.
Yeah, you're going back to Applebee's.
Yeah, Applebee's. There's not Applebee's here. We're in the sticks, man. But it'll be, there is a liquor store up the road. So we'll be fine.
You got that going for you,
Bob
don't
Evans,
you?
maybe.
Yeah, you got that going for you. Hey, you're a host of a pretty kick-ass television show called The Bass Doctor. And tell anybody out there who might not be familiar with that format, tell us what The Bass Doctor is.
It's been one of the, of course, tournament fishing, the tour, and all the other events we fish. I've got to meet a lot of people, and I'm still going to aggravate our boy Kyle. He practiced with me all year last year, and I had a terrible year, and I think it was all his fault. But anyway,
it probably was. Yes.
But I get to meet a lot of folks, and some of my best friends are people that I've met through fishing, and that's a neat deal to get to fish a lot of different lakes, with the tournament trail. But hosting a television show has offered me some opportunities that I never would have probably gotten before. I mean, last February I flew out to California, spent 2 days actually with Cody Meyer, the best finesse fisherman in the world on Bullard's Bar, trying to catch a world record spot. And then I flew, we ran over to Clear Lake for 2 days and caught. I mean, it's just lakes that these phenomenal fisheries that we don't ever get to go fish. And like I said, 2 weeks ago I was up at Mille Lacs, probably the best smallmouth fishery in the world. And it offers a lot of opportunity to fish places that I wouldn't have got to fish. But one thing I like about the way we do our show is always have a guest. So, it's put a lot of, I fished last year 2 shows with Bassmaster Classic champions, Boyd Duckett and Cliff Pace. And you know, and it gives me an opportunity to meet a lot of folks and fish with a lot of folks that I wouldn't, and other places that I wouldn't have ever got to do it before. But the way we try to do the show is, I mean, it's just like two buddies going fishing, man. We just go out and have a fun fishing day, and you know, it's just fun, and we try to keep it as real as can be. I mean, a lot of the craziness works for some folks on their show, but that's just not really my personality, and we just try to keep it real, just like me and you going out fishing for a day. So
Just having a
it's
good
just
time.
Fun. Yeah, it's just fun.
It's a good time. With no smack talking?
Maybe a little bit every now and then, especially we filmed one at Kentucky Lake the day after the tournament up there, and Mr. Patterson Leith from FLW, or he's the VP of marketing for FLW, went out with me. And yeah, I might have ribbed him a little bit because we were catching him pretty good and he wasn't. But, you know, that just happens. That's just a man thing. It doesn't matter if you're filming a show or just fishing.
You guys got any questions for Jason here?
Just Kentucky Lake, the topwater bite you're talking about, is that a water temperature thing, or is that just time of the year? You get
It's
to a
just
certain
time of the year.
Okay.
I mean, to me, it's just time of the year. Those fish just, you know, that shad basically, I mean, shad on Kentucky Lake is the primary, almost exclusive forage. I mean, you do have times of the year we have the brim beds and stuff, but shad is almost exclusively the forage there. And those shad just migrate. I mean, they leave that deep water and go to the pockets, and they go to the flats in the fall. And I mean, bass is a predator, dude. They got to eat, so they're going where the shad's at. But like I said, they'll still stay in those schools, but it's, you know, right now it's the same deal up there right now. But what really needs to happen is, you know, the Tennessee River lakes, all of them fluctuate basically, except for Gunnersville. And Pickwick's in the middle of the drawdown. Kentucky Lake just got drawn down for winter. And it kind of throws a kink in everything for a little while until those fish get acclimated to that new water level. But what we really need now is some cooler temperatures to really get it fired. But I mean, they just make that migration every fall, always have, and that's just where they'll be for a couple months every year.
I want to go.
Yeah, me too.
Jason, how do you determine whether to go north or south on the lake? What are the conditions you're looking for to fish either way? You know, it's hard to dictate which side of the lake to go to when you're going down there. You're just running for a little bit. What do you say?
Kentucky Lake is a little different than the rest of the Tennessee River chain when it comes to spawn. And typically you think of the north end. I mean, it's backwards, first of all. You know, the north end is down the lake and the south end is up the lake. So the current runs south to north there instead of the other way. But with that being said, typically all reservoirs, the deepest water is by the dam. And that is kind of the case at Kentucky. But what's really weird about Kentucky is the fish up north always spawn and get out deeper or earlier than they do down south. So where I go to fish at Kentucky Lake really depends on how far along the spawn is and you know how long those fish have had an opportunity to get offshore. But I don't know. I mean, to me, the best 10-mile, you know, I've always said the best part of Kentucky Lake is 10 miles north of Paris and 10 miles south of Paris. But the last couple of years, that's not been the case. So I don't know. I mean, I fish basically from New Johnsonville to the dam. So I get an opportunity to cover it all. But I mean, that's a hard question to answer because it just varies so much from time of year and year to year.
You just got to test it out. Test the water, so to speak.
And, you know, especially ledge tournaments now, everybody's gotten so good with electronics. You know, I can cover what I want to cover on that lake in 3 days, you know, probably 80 miles of the water.
Wow. A lot of cruising, isn't it? A lot of cruising.
A lot of cruising, a lot of iPod, and a lot of music. And
Nice.
Dude, it can get really monotonous. But, you know, one of the fun things to me about Kentucky Lake and electronics is, yeah, we all love catching them. But, man, you go out there and cruise around looking at those Garmins for 4, 5, 6 hours, and then, boom, you find a new spot that you've never seen them before. Dude, that's almost as much fun to me as catching them. So I guess I'm kind of an electronics geek, but I get off on looking at them. So
Uncharted.
Last question. What's the best song for side scanning? Number one song for side scanning.
It's got to be some Eric Church. You know, right now, Mr. Misunderstood's pretty strong on the album. It's just got to be some Eric Church. I'm not sure which one. I listen to all of them. So.
You're just running down the list. Hey,
Who is Eric Church?
Right, that's the new guy.
It's got to be country.
The
Right?
hey,
Oh, hell yeah, that's country.
tonight's country night, and we brought you in with Hank Williams III tonight, dude. I mean, we're knocking it out with some Hank 3. Hey, a couple quick things. I'm gonna run a couple things by you. You
Yeah.
tell me the first thing that comes to your mind, okay?
Okay.
All right. Sight fisherman.
Sight fisherman Matt Airy.
What's that? Matt Airy.
Matt Airy.
I was thinking of the people that see you catching them with the bent rods on Kentucky Lake and then run at you because they saw you fishing them.
That's true. There's a lot of that goes on.
That's
No
what
doubt.
I was thinking.
Nets.
Tennessee long snake.
That's me, dog.
Who's in the spank bank?
The Spank Bank Kyle Pascalo.
Awesome. Hubcap.
Hubcap. John Cox.
John Cox.
That's what he fishes out of, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay, there you
Yeah.
go. Now I'm with you.
That's a different angle.
Now I'm with you. The perfect ledge rod.
Anything that'll throw a 1 ounce swim bait head.
Anything that'll throw 1 ounce swim bait head. And crappie cage.
Crappie cage. Grease. Fryer. Tartar sauce.
You're making me hungry. Hey, anything that you want to say? Any last words before you get out of here, Jason?
Hey, I'm just glad y'all had me, dude. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Anytime, give me a call. We can do this again.
Dude, we would love to do it again, man. And best of luck tomorrow on Norris, dude. I hope you knock him out.
Luck is a lot better than good this week.
May the Bass God smile upon you, Jason Lambert.
Hey, thank you, buddy. Keep Kyle straight.
I'll do my best, man. I'll do my best. Thanks. Take care. Thanks for
Hey,
coming
see you
on the
next
show.
time.
Hey, see ya. Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. Don't you go nowhere. When we get back, it's Bassmaster Elite Series superstar Jason Christie on the Bass Buzz.
Hop into his water sled, he'll take you for a ride. He's a predator, and his prey is a bombast with red eyes. White-knuckling ignition.
PH Custom Lures by Phil Hunter, quickly becoming the most sought-after custom balsa baits in the industry, from the Little Hunter to the Squeaky P. These baits are pure quality, handcrafted, hand-carved, and hand-painted. But most importantly, they flat-out catch fish. PH Custom Lures has a bait for any situation in a magnitude of colors. Check out the old school, straighter, and PH Custom series at phcustomlures.com. That's phcustom.com.
The swim jig technique is one of the most successful time in and time out. Brovani Baits swim jigs are just the right tool for the job. Beaming with quality, the Brovani swim jigs come in a myriad of colors, feature the best premium hooks and solid trailer keepers to give you, the serious bass angler, the confidence you need to accomplish your goal of putting more fish in the boat. So go to BrovaniBaits.com and start climbing the ladder to swim jig success.
Take your fishing to the next level with Stank X Bait Company's soft plastic baits. Stank X is a family-owned and operated soft plastic company for Midwest anglers, and their goal is to make baits for anglers that are soft yet durable and continue to help you put more fish in the boat. Stank X has a full selection of soft plastics to suit your style of fishing. Every bait is handmade by Travis Crossman, and he makes sure that every bait is flawless. Check out their next level plastics that are airbrushed to perfection for ultra realistic paint jobs and fish catching action. Check out the full line of products at stankxbaitcompany.com. That's stank, the letter X, baitco.com.
Hello.
Hey, give me back my bullets. Give me back my bullets. It's the Bass Buzz on Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm Pat Renwick, and we're happy to bring you right now Bassmaster Elite Series superstar. Give it up for Jason Christie. Yeah. Woo! What's going on? How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. Well, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. What are you doing? Where are you at? You at home right now?
Yeah, I just rolled in, and we're under a pretty severe storm. So if we lose connection, that's what it's from. So I'll do the best I can.
Oh yeah. I mean, we hear you loud and clear right now. You know,
Okay.
Jason, it's I've never really spoken with you before, and I've spoken with a lot of the other bass fishing professionals here on the show. So, I called some people and got a little inside info on you, and a lot.
Really?
We got your file, dude. We got your file, man. And the consensus.
Maybe we don't need to talk about this.
Yeah, no, this is good. This is good. I promise you.
Okay, good.
Relax.
Good,
Everything's
good.
fine.
Okay.
Everything's fine. The consensus amongst your peers is that you are a badass. What do you think about? I mean, they all think you are a badass. And what makes Jason Christie a badass? You tell me.
Well, I don't know if that's the word, but I like it that they think that way because I know at takeoff, or if I'm fishing around them, then they always kind of keep an eye out. But I'm sure those guys are, just speaking kindly. I don't know what to say to that. That's kind of a hard question to answer. I mean, all I can say is I'm glad they think that, and I hope that I can convince. I mean, I hope that there's more people that think that.
I mean,
you're doing your job.
Near future.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of an intimidator. There's no doubt about it that you make a wave. Pretty much every time that we're reading about tournaments on Bassmaster.com, or we're getting updates from the Bass Blaster, or we're looking on Bass Fan, that name Jason Christie's popping up most of the time. I mean, you got like 50 top 10s in your career, combined tours, and 14 plus wins or something. That's quite an accomplishment, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate. I've been lucky over the years. There's been some fish that could have went either way, hit the side of the gunnel and bounced in the boat to win tournaments, and that's all I can say. I mean, I definitely want to win more, in the future. But if I don't win another event, I can't gripe, when it's over, because I've won my share and definitely want to win some more. I mean, I've had some close runs here lately, and I definitely want to keep winning. But you can't be greedy. If I don't win again, then I'll be satisfied. I am satisfied. I got nothing to prove. I'm doing this. I'm doing this career because I love fishing. I do it because it's the best way to support my family, and win, lose, or draw, that's what I'm going to do.
You're doing a heck of a job at it. Hey, speaking of, stellar performances, let's go back to a month or so ago on the Potomac River, man. We just watched you put on a clinic. How great was that?
That was one of the funnest days of fishing that I've had. I'm not going to lie to you. During the last day, I really thought I was going to win. I mean, I thought you just don't have those kind of days very often and not win. If you've watched the show, which I haven't, if you watch the show, you're probably going to see some things, and me say some things that I was leaning toward winning. And,
sure.
Justin, he just had too big of a lead. But, it took me, I don't have a lot of experience with tidal water. I'm still kind of figuring it out, and I may never figure it out. But it took me until like the third day before I kind of got a little bit dialed in. And, the first couple of days I was fishing around some guys, and you just kind of had to get, take what you could get. And the third day when the field was reduced, and then especially the fourth day where I could really fish around and kind of try to guess what tide was best in a certain area. And I had nothing to lose. I fished a lot more relaxed that last day, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, I caught 15 pounds before I even picked up a frog, and then I pick up a frog and cull everything that I have in the boat, and then some. I'm getting to where I used to despise tidal fisheries. I mean, I like fishing shallow. Every tidal fishery, for the most part, you're going to fish shallow. I like fishing that way, but for some reason, the first few events, and I think I was one of those guys that did what everybody told me to do. And finally, I was like, the heck with that, I'm going to do what I know to do. And
yes,
and I'm just getting a lot more comfortable fishing that way. And we had several tidal fisheries this year, and I did pretty much good on most of them. And from now on, when I see tidal fisheries on on the schedule. You know, I'm not going to bang my head against the wall. I'll be like, all right, let's get it on.
Yeah, you definitely got some
look forward to those.
Some more confidence there. One of the coolest fish catches I ever saw in the Bassmasters was when you saw that big one swimming up behind the boat and you pitched in there and stuck him, dude. I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Well, what was weird, they didn't show the entire fish catch. I mean, they showed the fish catch, but they didn't show entirely what happened. Well, what happened was that fish came around the front of the boat, and I made a pitch, and I had like I think a 6-inch worm on, and I pitched it over there, and the first pitch I pitch it in front of him and pop it, and he eats it, and I jerk. Well, he had just bitten the worm off, so he kind of swims quickly to the back of the boat, and you know, I'm running to the back, and the whole time I'm digging a bait out of my pocket. I had a bad mama in my pocket from punching. I put it on and catch him from the back of the boat with the cameraman over my shoulder. So it was pretty cool. And that's what I was saying. When things like that happen, usually you win. But like I said, Justin just had too big of a lead. I mean, he had the mother lode found up there. I had a great day, but he had a great tournament.
Yeah, still an epic performance, and I'm sure one that'll stick in your mind for many years to come. Hey, let's go back to the 2016 Bassmaster Classic, and I'm a big fan of that hubcap spinnerbait that you were throwing. I catch a lot of fish early in the year on that, and kind of describe to your fans and our viewers a firsthand depiction of that bait and how you're using it.
Well, it's just a bait that we've used for years and years here in Oklahoma, and you know, where I got dialed in on the Classic was not necessarily on Grand. I live about an hour away, and I live on a Lake Tenkiller, and it's usually a jerk bait kind of deal, you know, swim bait in the wintertime, and we were flooded and muddy just like Grand was, and I spent a lot of time out there fishing. I kept experimenting with ways to catch them, and I could catch them several different ways, but the most consistent for catching the bigger fish was that big spinnerbait, and you know, going into the Classic, the first day of practice, you know, I just had a lot of confidence because I'd been catching so many on it. I really didn't have to find the bait. I just had to find the right areas, and I did. I mean, and the right pattern. And it's just a bait that you can cover a lot of water. When that water's dirty like that, they're going to feel the bait. I mean, it's just I was throwing a 3/4 and a 1 ounce, depending on the depth and the water temperature and stuff. But it's a bait that you can cover a lot of water, and it's a bait that if you get a bite more times than not, you're going to get him in, and it's a bait that I can skip back underneath, you know, cables and boat docks, and I can cover all kinds of depth. I can throw it up in 2 foot of water, and I can slow roll it over 7 or 8. It's just in the Classic, you've probably seen I had a couple of spinner baits laid on the front deck, and I think I had a jig laid there, and that was just to maybe fool somebody. I mean, I was all in on the spinner bait, and I mean, I love throwing it, and you know, I feel like during that week, I mean, we had too much changing going on, and you know, I was in practice. I had a couple of really, really big days. I mean, I had like second day of practice, I had like a 32, 33 pound bag, and but it wasn't like an area. It was like a big in here and a big in there. They were just starting to kind of pull up, and you know, some things changed, but I love that bait. I mean, I've won the first tour level event I've ever won. I won on the same spinnerbait except a 1/2 ounce. It's just a bait that I have a lot of confidence in. In the spring and under those kind of, you know, those dirty water pre-spawn, even post-spawn, but those pre-spawn especially conditions are best for that big spinnerbait.
That's the time. What kind of tackle are you throwing that thing on? Are you just throwing it on a basic spinnerbait rod, or because of the weight are you beefing it up?
No, I throw it on my frog rod. It's 6'11", and it's kind of, I have to have a rod that's, you know, I don't want one too long, that I can kind of, you know, get around the docks, and it's got a pretty soft tip. I mean, not a crankbait tip, but a pretty soft tip for a frog rod. And then, you know, I was using 20 to 25 pound line. I mean, I've had a lot of questions on this actually. I was using the Sun line. It's flipping line. It's actually, you'll see like 2 foot of high vis and, you know, several feet of clear and then high vis. It just alternates. And I got on that on King Killer, and the reason I wanted that, there was 3 or 4 hours in the day with that dirty water. You just could not pick up that fluorocarbon. You couldn't see it, and some of the bites, were just those slack line. Your blade would just quit turning bites, and I wanted to really, really watch my line. And I actually called them. I said, "Hey, I want some line that I can see." And they said, "Well, we have it. We'll send it to you." And that's what I used during the Classic. And then, on a spinnerbait, I'm still a 5.1 to 1 reel. I use a Lose reel at 5.1, and I like to feel like I'm moving. My hand's going fast, but my bait's really not. So
that helps.
That's the setup I was using.
Nice. Hey, how important is a swim jig to you, Jason Christie? How important of a bait is that in your arsenal?
It's pretty important. I mean, I won Dardanelle on it a couple of years ago. It is. It's weird because I get asked, how important is this bait? What's your favorite bait? And man, we go to so many places under so many different conditions. Everything seems to come into play at some time or another. But over the years, I mean, if you give me a lake or a river system that's got flooded water willa and lily pads and things like that, I mean, definitely before I even put the boat on the lake, the swim jig is going to be laying on the front deck. So it's definitely, I mean, it's one of them. When I go to a lake, I try to get on a jig bite first, because if I can get on a jig bite, then I have the opportunity to win.
Nice.
So that's, jigs right up there with the spinner bait and, a swim bait. I mean, there's a few baits that if you can get them to bite it, you're going to have a chance to win.
Excellent. Now you primarily are a shallow water fisherman, as we all know. What is the biggest mistake that you see guys making as far as being shallow water fishermen? What's a mistake that you might see amateur weekend anglers making in shallow water?
Well, I think there's two things. It's been several years ago, but I used to take people fishing and kind of teach them patterns and things like that. And one of the things they always said is, "I cannot believe how fast you fish just practicing, just going down the bank." I mean, my trolling motor's on high a lot, and you just have to cover a lot of water, especially when you go to lakes that you don't fish a lot. And that trolling motor has a dial on it. I mean, you can go really, really fast, and then when you do start getting bit, you can slow down. I mean, and I just don't like spending a lot of time in unproductive areas. And I think and that was one thing. I think, I fish, and I think we all do. We practice, kind of really, really fast, and then we kind of learn the areas, and then when tournament times, we just go in and settle down and fish. But I think the second thing is, I hear a lot of times guys fishing shallow. "Hey, man, I went out practicing yesterday, and I pulled into these laydowns and caught all these fish, and went back the next day and couldn't get a bite." Well, most cases, these shallow fish are resident fish. You can't go practice and catch everything in an area and expect to go back the next day and catch them. So in multi-day events, you have to have a lot of areas, or it has to be in transition times like spring or fall when there's more fish coming or more fish leaving, the deeper water. That's why a lot of times in the elite events, you'll see the shallow water guys really, really catch them maybe the first day or the second day, and then some kind of cranking pattern or something like that tends to catch up with them, because we run out of those resident fish that live on those laydowns or docks or something like that. But, I would just say, the second thing being, if you're going to go practice, cut your hook off or if you plan on fishing in the same area and it's more important to catch them during the tournament than it is during practice.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a huge mistake that people make during practices. But we can't help ourselves sometimes. It's just so much fun to catch them. You know what I mean?
Dude, I fish the Elite Series, and I travel a lot. And I get bites, and I'm like, I got to jerk, because I love to catch fish. And when I jerk immediately, I'm like, "You idiot, you should not have set the hook," because sometimes it's a big one. But it really depends on what lake we're on. If we're on a Gunnersville, or something like that that's got tons of fish, I don't worry so much. I mean, I got to catch a few just to see the fish and see how healthy they are and what they look like. You can learn a lot just by looking at a fish, but you don't want to catch too many. I know some guys that don't catch any.
Yeah.
I know there's some guys out there that do not set the hook, period, and I can't do that. I like to catch them too much.
That's a tough deal. Hey, Jason, we're right up against the break right here. We're going to take a quick 30-second break. Mind holding on for a second, and we'll come back and talk some more bassing, bud.
Sure.
Awesome. Hey, keep it locked right here. The Bass Buzz, Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm Pat Renwick. Back with more Jason Christie in a moment.
How did you change your body? I mean, like just really working out? Mm-hmm. Could you take...
I did martial arts a lot and full contact karate and weights.
Could anybody do that? Could you take these two here?
Come on, say what you really think, huh?
Could you change anybody's body with enough time? Seriously?
Sure, yeah, definitely. Yeah. It just takes determination, hard work, and good instructor.
Welcome back, Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television, the Bass Buzz. Back here with Bassmaster Elite Series superstar Jason Christie. Welcome back, Jason.
Hey, glad to be back.
Hey, excellent, man. Hey, you spend a lot of time driving. I mean, you're on the road constantly as a Bassmaster Elite Series touring pro. What's going on during driving? I mean, are you doing preparation in your mind for upcoming events? Is there creative visualization going on during the drive?
Yeah, that's you pretty much hit it dead on. I mean, I got a family that's really, really busy, and it's hard for me to think about a lake. The pre-practicing for me is, I don't do it. I mean, I just don't have time. I have too many things going on here. So, I'm at the house a day or two before. I'm packing my boat. I'm packing my truck. But when I get in the truck to start driving, that's whenever I start, going through scenarios and really thinking about it, what I think the lake's going to set up, some areas, or if I haven't been there, just the time of year. But that's whenever I pull out, that's when practice starts for me, because I don't do a lot of, online preparation or anything like that. I pretty much do that the entire time when I'm driving.
Yeah,
that kind of gets me in the serious mode is the driving part of it.
You get your game face on.
Yeah, my game face and my tired face, but yeah, it gets some kind of face on.
Hey, you're home now. The Bassmaster Elite Series is pretty much done for the year. You love hunting. I know you've been out in the woods, but have you forgotten about fishing for a little bit? Do you kind of block it out of your mind? And if so, when do you start thinking about it again?
Man, it's weird because I know, people don't like to hear me say, he don't even think about fishing, but it's the truth. And I need that because, there's been years in the past where, I've fished through deer season. We get a low pressure day and I'll go out fishing and I just really never have a break from it. And now it's better for me to lay fishing aside for, all I can. I like to do it October, November, and December, and then start back, after Christmas. I'll fish a month or so around the house. But usually what happens, like right now, I get in the tree and the last thing I'm thinking about is fishing. I'm still working on finalizing some contracts and things like that. But really that's 15 minutes in a day's time. And what happens is about, middle of November, the latter part of November, I start missing it, and it gets me excited to go. And, I'll still be in a deer stand, but I'll be making notes, order crankbaits, order this, order that, get the boat wrapped. And pretty soon I'm deer hunting, but I'm not even thinking about deer hunting. I'm thinking about fishing, and I can't wait to go. And and that gives me the the anticipation to really get excited about it again and to be fired up after Christmas. I love fishing in the wintertime, and it's some of the funnest days I have is that early January going out there fishing, and because I haven't been doing it in 3 months. That's one of the things about deer hunting is we only get to do it 2 months out of the year. That's why everybody gets so excited about it. Fishing, we can do it 12 months out of the year, and I pretty much do it 9. So it's really good for me to take a break and get in the woods. And to me, it's not about killing a bunch of deer. I mean, it's just getting out there and going with the kids and sitting by yourself and just that alone time.
Yeah, it's good for the soul, man. It's
the man in the woods.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for the soul. Hey, Jason, let's play a little game here. We got a game we play on the Bass Buzz, and it's called Bassin Roulette. Okay, and basically what we have six questions. 6 questions in the chamber, and one of them is a loaded question. And I'm going to shoot something at you here, and you just kind of tell me the first thing that pops to your mind. Okay.
Good.
Are you ready? First one: road food. Road food.
Wendy's hamburger.
Wendy's hamburger. What are you getting on that? Loaded?
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
Everything on
He said
that.
hamburger though, no cheese.
I hate to eat that way on the road, but the only just about the only hamburger that I'll eat on the road is a Wendy's or a Braum. So
Is a Wendy's.
Yeah.
Excellent. Agony.
Of defeat the last year for me.
Agony of defeat. That's where I was at with it. Wood clowns. Wood clowns.
Wood clown. I don't even know what a wood clown is.
Well, that's wood clowns are these crazy clowns that are taking over the United States. We had
all I got to say is he better not come within 50 yards of my deer stand because I'll shoot him right in the guts, and we'll find him about 2 weeks later.
Gerald Swindle said the exact same thing, I think.
That's what Swindle told us last week. He sure did. he sure did.
But I don't mess around in the woods. I mean, you can scare people and stuff around the house, but you get in the woods and you don't mess with stuff like that. I mean, you can absolutely ruin somebody's life. I actually stepped on a copperhead coming out tonight, and I still, I'm walking around in my concrete shop looking for snakes. So you just don't mess around with stuff in the woods.
No, that'll spook you. Grass fisherman.
Todd Faircloth.
Todd Faircloth. Excellent.
Yeah, and I had to split that. That would have been 2 names come in my head: Todd Faircloth and Greg Hackney. But both of them deserve the same amount of respect. The utmost. And we have a bunch of them, but those are just 2 that come to mind.
Sponsor hound. Sponsor hound.
Oh, I can't even mention any names on this.
Tell us generically. What's the definition of that?
Yeah. That's one of the things that I see that I really don't like about our sport is a lot of the people that do stuff for a free spinnerbait or something like that. And we need. I mean, we actually it's kind of good because it levels everybody out. I mean, as far as it lets these companies that can't afford it, these smaller companies, get their names out there. But man, I shouldn't even answer that. That's a hard question to talk about to me.
That's a tough one. Backstrap.
Yeah, that's top 3 favorite food for me, if not number 1.
Oh, I love some backstrap. No doubt about it. Hey, what we kind of talked about the reputation you have amongst your peers at the beginning of your segment here, and I guess you could say that a lot of people might look at Jason Christie as an intimidator, and that's a great strategy as far as tournament fishing. But what is Jason Christie afraid of? What are you afraid of, Jason?
Well, in the sport, really nothing. I mean, I'm not I'm not afraid of any person or any situation, because to me it's just fishing. I mean, I'm still going to come home and my kids and my wife are going to be there like they always are. And I think what I'm afraid of most of all is where the sport is going to be when I'm done, 20 to 30 years. That's what scares me, because I've fished the elites now, but whenever I'm on my deathbed, that's not what I'm going to remember. I'm going to remember those days when I was a kid and, in my 20s, jumping out of bed to go fishing from daylight till dark. And,
wow.
And that's what I'm going to remember. And I want that, I want that to continue for as long as, forever. And I'm not saying that we're headed in a negative direction. I'm just saying that scares me, whether it happens in 10 years, 50 years, or 2,000 years. I just, I want everybody to have the same opportunity, in the woods and on the water that I've had.
Sure. I mean, in the uncertain future, I guess is scary to just about every human. You know what I mean? It's something we don't know about. Now, bass fishing has made a huge progression, and in most part, over the years. How many years have you been at this, Jason? How many years you been fishing professionally? 10 plus? What do you got?
Yeah, I think 9 or 10.
Okay. So since
9 or 10.
Since you've come in, bass fishing, even in 10 years, has made a huge progression for the positive, but it also has made a regression for the negative. And in your opinion, what do you think one of the things are that you would have rather not seen happen in professional bass fishing?
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of another tough question. I came in 08, and I didn't know it at the time, but that was one of the roughest years ever in bass fishing. That's when the economy crashed and all that kind of nonsense. And I really just can't speak of anything that's totally negative. I think on the business side of fishing, everything's getting, everybody's getting some more security and things are looking up and it's headed in a positive direction, at least for me it is. And, negatively, I really can't put my finger on one thing that I just dislike. I mean, there's some things that, like, the driving, but that's just part of my job. I mean,
yeah, of course.
That's just what I signed up for that 9 or 10 years ago. But as far as the sport, I mean, I think we're doing good things. We're going to lakes that nobody's heard of, and I mean, we're trying new things. I mean, we're trying different formats. We're, every year that I've fished the Elite Series, we're trying something new every year. And yeah, sometimes it doesn't work out, but most times it does. And to me, that's kind of cool, because it's not the same old thing every year. We're doing something new, and it kind of keeps you excited, and it keeps you young.
No,
it does for me.
I totally agree. And the only thing, and I'm right with you on this. The only thing, in my opinion, that I might see as beneficial as it might be, but the only negative factor from as far as a competitive standpoint might be the advancement in electronics. I mean, it's made a lot of people that weren't necessarily as good a fishermen better fishermen because of technological progression. But that's a catch-22 right there, definitely.
Right. Well, and whenever you said that, that's one of the negative things that just come to my mind. It's negative for me, but it's positive for the sport, and that's the amount of competition that's in our field now. I mean, it's changed since I started fishing, and it's just since I came into the Elite Series, 4 or 5 years ago. Man, it's getting tougher, and it ain't going to get any better anytime soon. I mean, it's getting harder and harder every year to make the Classic, and it's getting harder and harder to win a tournament, just because of the bloodline coming out of these opens and stuff. And
sure.
And it's not just the kids. Everybody keeps saying, well, it's these young kids. It's not just the kids. It's these guys that have fished, and they're 35, and they're wanting to take a chance, and they've won 8 million tournaments, regionally. They just never had the opportunity, and it's getting I mean, our sport is getting really, really level and competitive.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Hey, tell us a Jason Christie fishing story. Tell us a memorable moment, or tell us a story. A story. One of my favorites, man, and I've told this, and some of the fans that listen probably heard it, is this happened, I don't know, when I was a kid. But my dad and I were fishing a local tournament. It was actually hosted by Jimmy Houston. He used to have a tournament every fall, and usually it takes like 13, 14, 15 pounds with 7 fish to win. Well, dude, I found the mother load. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I found like the biggest school of big fish ever, and we pull out there, and they're given a chance for a truck on big bass, and I literally make a cast with a fat-free shad, and I hook one. It seemed like it was 275 yards out there, and it jumped. And I said, "Well, right here's your big bass," and we get it in, and he gets it in the net, and we're sitting there, and my dad's pretty quiet, just like me. I mean, and he's excited, and I still remember how excited he was. Well, we're standing there looking at each other and looking at this 811 that's in the net, and all of a sudden I hear a fish jump, and I'm like, what? It took me a second to realize, well, whenever he netted my fish, he dropped his rod, and his plug is out there floating up. Well, he's got a 6-pounder on the end of his plug, and the 8-pounder's caught in the net. So, and the 6-pounder, the line is in the lower unit. So I go back there, get the line off the lower unit, hand rope this 6-pounder in, and he nets it. So we have an 8-11 and a 6-pounder in the net at the same time on a lake where it usually takes 7 fish for 13 or 14 pounds to win. So, it was just the scenario and how it happened, and that it happened with my dad, and I just, that's one story that always comes to mind whenever people ask me about.
And you wonder why you're known as a badass.
Yeah.
Let's recap.
Well,
yeah, that's awesome.
Let's recap. Jason Christie, what makes you afraid? On tour? Nothing.
Nothing. There it is. I mean, that's.
I stepped on a copperhead tonight.
Yeah,
no big deal.
Badass written all over you, dude.
I said I stepped on him. I actually went to step, and he moved, and I don't think I landed I was high stepping, and I'll say this: he's not going to scare anybody anymore. So.
That proves the point exactly. The consensus comes to life right there, right there. Ryan Whitaker, you got a question for Jason Christie?
Hey, Jason Christie. I got a question about the swim jigging thing. Going back a couple years when you won that tournament throwing the swim jig, but it was not a traditional swim jig pattern or a swim jig retrieve. I'm so glad we got you on, because I was kind of confused about it. But you were throwing like a heavier, almost like a flipping style jig, correct?
Yeah.
And
it's kind of
snapping it.
It's kind of a hybrid. I mean, it's you can do either with it. I mean, it's the head style it makes it a good flipping jig, and then also a good swim jig. But
the thing that I thought was unique about it was that it looked like you were fishing a swim jig with your rod tip up, and you were snapping that thing constantly, right? Popping it the whole time, right? Now, how do you? Yeah,
that's something I
can't do it.
Something I don't like talking about a whole lot. But since the show came out, here's the reason on that. Most things that you see swim jigging, guys are, casting big grass beds. Well, where I grew up throwing a swim jig, we had bands, 15 feet or so off of the bank of water willow. And everything was, you could make a long flip and hit the bank. Everything was bank oriented. And, on the river system that I live at, it's pretty much a mud bottom. And these fish don't relate to the bottom. Even if they're in 2 foot, they feed up. I mean, they come up to get stuff. And I've just learned over the years, and, my uncles and my dad taught me, you keep that jig up visible. And whenever you get in those high percentage areas, then you can kind of pop it. And that's what I was doing at Dardanelle. Those fish did not want to bite. I mean, I was fishing around with the guys. You had to make them bite, and it was almost like a jerk bait. You got it around that high percentage area and you popped it, they would flush it. I mean, and they would have it in their throat. So it's a combination of the things that I grew up fishing and making those fish bite.
Do you have any kind of a trick for how you're snapping that thing so fast? I'm a drummer. I like to think I should probably have pretty good rhythm with my hand.
Yeah.
But I can't keep that rhythm going. You got any kind of trick on how to keep that cadence going with that jig without your wrist wearing out in every cast?
Well, it's just like a jerk bait. I mean, I've taken guys jerk bait fishing for a day, and they say they could never, they wore out and they have to take off work for a week and all this kind of stuff. And it doesn't even bother me. It's just, I think you grow up doing it. I don't have any tricks. I say just
because you're a badass.
Just keep it in your hand and use rods that that don't kill you. I mean, use something that's lightweight and
a falcon.
And man, I love fishing that way. That's I grew up and 25-pound line and the reason that I keep that up is I like using a big jig. I swim a half ounce most of the time, and I can make a half ounce move a lot quicker on those snaps than you can, an 1/8 ounce. That's weird. People are going to say, how in the heck is that? Well, you rip an 1/8 ounce, it's going to come out of the water. It's going to, it's going to move too much. That half ounce, I can really pop it and still keep it in the water and make those fish bite.
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. We do a northern style swim jig in here, so we need to try that, dude.
Yeah, we just burn it.
Yeah, we'll probably
and
wreck.
It stopped working at
We'll
some
probably
point. I
wreck
don't know
'em.
what's going on.
Hey, Jason, anything
Yeah, well, you can't burn it where I fish at. I mean, you got to literally like feather it through the lanes and through the grass beds and stuff.
Finesse swim jigging.
Yep.
Hey, Jason, anything you want to say to your fans or your sponsors before you head out, buddy?
No, I mean it's. I appreciate everybody. I mean the fans and the sponsors. It's cool to be driving home from an event that you finish first or second in and get all the texts. But it's even more cool than that when you're driving home and you finish 90th and you get the same amount of texts. That tells me that those fans and friends and sponsors are behind me, whether I catch a bass or not, and that's really important to me.
That's awesome. And you are blessed, man. And don't forget, you are a bass fishing badass, no matter what you might think. We wish you the best of luck in the upcoming season, and best of luck and good times in the woods, man.
I appreciate it. You guys have a good night.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Hey, this is Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television, the Bass Buzz. We'll be back with our buddy Billy McDonald from Greenwood, Indiana, FLW Tour Pro. Welcome back, Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. Bass Buzz number 2 continues right now, and we are proud to bring on longtime buddy, friend of the Bass Buzz, from Greenwood, Indiana, fellow Hoosier, ladies and gentlemen, Billy McDonald. Yeah.
Hey, what's happening, Pat?
What's up, Billy?
Sitting here in the boat, piddling around with stuff, trying to
Damn,
get things ready.
you look awesome, dude. I'm not gonna kid you. You got an awesome beard going. Right, you look like our buddy Popcorn Whitaker right here.
Yeah.
I can't grow it on top, so I figure I'll grow it where I can.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Hey, you're sitting in the Billy Mac man cave, huh? That's the garage where the magic happens.
Yeah. So this is where I live at 90% of the time. So,
what are you doing? What are you tinkering with in there?
we got the Costa Championship coming up. I leave a week from Friday, but so I'm just out here kind of playing, getting the boat ready, and then actually I'm leaving in the morning, going to Texas for a deer hunt. I'll come back Sunday. So
awesome. Well, Jason Christie's going to send us backstraps, so we expect you to do the same thing.
You want backstraps or you want summer sausage? It don't matter to me.
Both. We want both. I think. Both.
Okay.
I think both would be good.
I'll take the hard, Clark.
Hey man, Billy Mac, let's get straight to it, man. You got a good life, dude. You got a good life, don't you?
I'm very blessed. There's no doubt about that. You know, to be able to fish and hunt, don't get any better than that.
I mean, you've been at, like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe about 4 years. You finally went to, and I'll look at my hands in quotes, quitting your real job and going into this. What has it been, about 4 years?
Yeah, it's something like that. Been 4 years or so that I just dedicated to fishing full time. So,
how awesome is that? Okay, you get to do television shows. You get to fish professionally on the Walmart FLW Tour. You get to go on little deer hunting trips. You go catching tuna with the deadliest catch guys or something. I don't know what the hell you're doing, but I mean, you're a world traveler now, Bill McDonald.
Yeah, I got my butt handed to me on them tunas now. They're bad to the bone.
What is that like? I mean, I've never caught a giant tuna or big tuna.
Take the biggest rod you got, strap it onto a Volkswagen, and let them take off and try pulling it back.
Are they eating the slither rigs? Are you tossing the slither rigs at them?
I tell you, the coolest thing about that, we was fishing with live herring on top, and we're sitting in like 3,000 feet of water, and we're on these oil rigs, and the tuna, you can see them in 200 feet on the graph, and you can watch them start streaking up, turn around, and watch them eat your bait then.
Wow.
And then just hang on, because it's wide open from there on.
So it's
they
awesome.
do not quit.
It's like ice fishing then, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, kind of.
But on steroids, obviously.
Major steroids.
He's video gaming them.
Did you eat them right there on the boat?
Did you sushi
No,
them up?
we didn't while we were there. They kept telling me we were gonna do that, but we never did.
Oh man, you just gotta pick one up and just take a bite.
Yeah,
like a burger,
like an animal, like
Yeah.
Billy Mac the
go.
animal. Hey, we brought you to where you are. I mean, we didn't bring you, but we just talked about where you are right now. Now, if I were to say to you, Billy Mac, you got to get back to the roots. Tell me what that means to you in life and in tournament fishing. Tell me about that.
Keep it simple. This year there's a lot of guys belly aching about the FLW schedule. But I'm looking at it and I'm kind of very well pleased. It's going to be a shallow water deal. I don't mind going out fishing deep, but it's lining up that every tournament is going to be a shallow water deal, which will play right into my.
Love that.
I'm just going to keep it simple.
Well, why are they whining? Why are they being whiners?
Because they're not going to Tennessee River. We're not going to Kentucky Lake. We're not going to Pickwick. Who
Where
cares?
are you?
We're going to start out at Gunnersville the first week of February.
Oh, that's a bummer, right?
Yeah, leave there and go to Lake Travis down by Austin, Texas. So we'll hit that and then leave there and we go to, let me think here, Harris Chain, 1st of March.
Yeah, there's no big
Leave
ones
there
there
and
either.
go to Cumberland the 1st of April, then to Beaver, and then La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Oh,
That's by us, Bill.
it's like a dream.
Right?
That's a
And
dream
then end
series.
up at the Potomac for the final event. So
Nice. The only one that doesn't sound exciting is Beaver Lake.
Yeah.
I mean,
Beaver's
Beaver is
Beaver.
very exciting, but not Beaver Lake.
Beaver's Beaver. So,
Hey,
but it should be good, man. I mean, it should be. You ought to be able to look at them.
when you come through La Crosse, you got to stop
Hey, we
over
could
here.
do that.
Yeah, you got to come say hi to us at least anyway. What's the hardest part about being a professional fisherman? Now, let's hear some whining from Billy Mac. What's the hardest part?
Being a truck driver.
Being a truck driver.
I mean, that's the hardest part is driving. and you leave one spot, go to the next spot. And, you know, I fish the Costa Series too, and I might fish one of the Bass Open Series. So, I mean, it's literally you're leaving one tournament going straight to another one. That's the hardest part. You know, I've been working on contracts today, doing that kind of stuff, and just renting houses because I try to rent houses or condos. Mark Rose and Greg Bohannon room with me, so trying to get all that lined up. It just, you know, it takes some time to plan all that.
Well, you know, the thing about truck drivers, like in country songs, like truck drivers aren't as cool as they're really made out to be, but bass fishing truck drivers are always cool, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll have to say the law kind of turns their head to us. So
nice.
You know, when you come through and you got a wrap truck and boat, and knock on wood, I've been very blessed. You know, I've blown by some going 85 and 90, and they just kind of look at you and let you go on.
There's that Lucas Oil guy. We're not pulling him over. Not happening. What are you watching on the TV back there? Are you watching Three's Company? What is that?
Now hunting shows, man.
Hunting
there ain't
show.
no fishing shows on, so I watch hunting shows.
I know we got to DVR those things. You know that I catch up on fishing shows. That's why and all kinds of good hunting shows on right now. You're getting yourself psyched out for tomorrow, aren't you?
Yeah, like I said, we fly in. We'll be down in San Antonio about 12:30 tomorrow, and take about an hour drive out to the ranch, shoot the guns, and hopefully maybe kill something tomorrow night. Something's going to die. Might be a few things die down there.
I mean, you said I thought you were fixing to go catch those to go deer hunting with just a buck knife. Isn't that what?
Oh, we can do that. We can jump out of the tree on them. I don't care.
That's what I thought you were going to do. Just jump up and slit their throat. I mean, I thought that's what you were doing. That's gonna make it good right there.
Yeah, I got a brand new long range gun. I'm looking forward to going down there and shooting something.
I'll bet you are, man. Hey, what is a walk in the park to Bill McDonald? What's a walk in the park to you?
A walk in the park when I can look at them. You know, if I can pull up and look at them, or you know, like Kentucky Lake, pull up and they're in the bushes, then it's game on.
That's a walk in the park.
Like I can play with Christie or any of them guys when I'm doing that game.
Yeah, I mean that, and again, that's your confidence thing, man. That's your confidence thing.
You know, you pick up a big stick, got a jig on it, go fishing.
Look at you showing off in that. Are you in that Ranger right now?
Oh yeah, I'm sitting right in it.
Nice. Have you ever fell asleep out there and then your wife?
See?
Oh yeah. Now that is sexy right there. There's no doubt. Do you,
oh yeah, I've woke up sitting out here on the boat before, so it's all good.
That's your safe place. That's your safe place right there. What's the highlight of your bass fishing career?
You know, finishing second up there at Detroit River to Larry Nixon. You know, that was good. Winning a Everstart years ago was good. You know, being able last year, Chickamauga weighing in the biggest bag of the year, and still nobody beat it this year. You know, I weighed in 29.12 the first day.
Dude, that was awesome.
And, you know, all offshore, which is not what I'm supposed to do. So, you know, and that was pretty cool. So I just been very blessed, and, you know, got my son, he fishes too. And so he traveled with me for a few years. So it's been good.
Yeah. He knocks him out, don't he?
He's a stick now, without a doubt.
He might be better than you, Billy.
There's no doubt. His problem is he's got 3 little kids, so I told him, I said, you got to take care of them first.
His time will come. His time will come. What's the most important thing you've learned in being a professional bass fisherman?
Preparation.
Preparation.
You know, getting everything together, staying organized.
Sorry. Ryan Whitaker got so excited when you just answered that. Did you see that?
I didn't say preparation H. I said preparation.
Okay,
but no, just getting everything organized and knowing what you're doing and where you're going, and having a game plan.
Having a game plan. You love it when a plan comes together.
I love it when a plan comes together.
But you know what sucks for us bass fishermen? That's the stars have to align for that, Billy. You know?
Oh, it does. You know, and I mean, this year, I had a terrible year. But I probably had the best practices I had. I just had some bad things happen on one day of the tournament. You cannot blow the first day of it. You can't win it the first day, but you can by God lose it.
God, I've heard that so many times, and how true that is. Even in in little local derbies, no matter what kind of deal you're doing, whether it's a 2-day local derby or a 4-day pro tour level event, man, that's the first day can really just screw you. It can screw you.
You can win it on the first day though if they cancel the second day for weather.
That's true. That is, you got that going for you.
Yeah,
So you gotta
you're
catch 'em.
true there.
That's
But I
it.
mean, too, you can, just confidence. You go out there and you have one of them premier days, and everything starts clicking. Then it's a good thing to get the year started off right.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Hey, Billy, you've met Bobby B many a times. You know Bobby
Oh, yeah.
Bergeron over there. You know Bobby B. I don't know if you've ever met the hip hop fisherman. This is JP.
No.
This is JP Kitty right here, not JT Kenny, but this is
What up, Billy?
that's
What's
JP.
happening, JT?
And this dude right here over to my right, this is Ryan Popcorn Whitaker right
What's
here.
up, Billy?
And
What's happening, popcorn?
He's the popcorn. And you know what he did today, Billy? He caught a fish that was just a few ounces short, a smallmouth that was a few ounces short of the Illinois state record today.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, he caught
Did you
it.
not have no lead weights?
What's that? No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't get to weigh it. So by the time they got the certified scale there, it was, I thought it was big, so I made a call. So
It was big.
didn't have it. Yeah, it was big.
He should
It
have shoved
was
some
big.
gobies down its throat or something.
That's right.
You
Now,
know?
I'd rather, and it's crazy because I'd rather catch smallmouth than anything. I mean, they weren't made. I love them.
They pull. Yeah, they pull for sure.
How many times a year do you go down to St. Clair Way?
Yeah, I go a couple times a year. I took a couple sponsors up there in July, and it was funny. They really didn't fish, and one guy sat in the back seat and just opened his bell up and just dropped it. And like at 10 o'clock in the morning, they go, "This is the best day fishing we've ever had."
They're just dragging.
Yeah, and we're throwing drop shots, and I go, "How late you guys want to fish?" They go, 5 o'clock. From 4:30 to 5 o'clock, we caught 20 between 4.5 and 5.5 pounds.
Wow.
And at 5 o'clock, the guy goes, "It's 5 o'clock. I'm ready." And I looked at him like he was crazy. I go, "Dude, they're eating."
Yeah.
He goes, "Well, it's 5 o'clock."
There was just a derby there, I believe, last
After
week.
that, it'll be 6.
Yeah. Well,
That's right.
There was just a derby there not too long ago, within the last week or so. Our producer, Andy, the Ginger Ninja, when was that tournament? Last weekend. It was a record bag weight, and it was like a 30-pound bag. Did you see that?
I did not, but that's very possible up here without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal fishery. There's no doubt about it. Hey, Billy, I don't know if you've ever seen on the show before, but we play a little game called Bassin Roulette. You want?
I have not. Let's let it rip.
Let's play a game. So now what we got here is 6 questions. There's 6 questions in the barrel of Bassin Roulette, and I'm going to throw them at you right here. Larry, can I have some Bassin Roulette music? I need to get in the mood. Where's some Bassin Roulette music for? Yes, Bassin Roulette.
There we go.
Bassin Roulette with Bill McDonald, professional bass angler. Uh-oh, they just shot me.
That'd make you pop a cap just listening to that.
Right there. Combat fishing. First thing that comes to your mind, combat fishing.
Combat fishing? Ledge fishing.
Combat.
Yeah, ledge fishing.
Ledge fishing is why?
Yeah, when you got 2 boats on one side of you, 2 on the other side, you're bumping boats or casting over your line. That's combat fishing.
That is combat.
That's a sword
fishing.
fight.
That's that. $1 short. $1 short.
$1 short.
Yeah.
That's when you come in and you only got 4.
It's $1. Timber doodler.
Timber doodler. That's flipping at its finest in pole timber.
Oh, look, Billy Mack knows the history. You hear that? He knew the history right there. I love this guy. I love it. Well done. Well done.
Yeah, that's when you set the bag up there and it weighs 29.12.
29.12. Well done. Menace.
Menace?
Yes.
That's when you got a wobble head on and they're eating it. You got that menace tied on there.
Boom. Sponsor plug right there. Yeah, I like
Strike
that.
King all the way.
Threw the
That's
Strike Kinger in there. You got to do it. 25-pound bag.
Awesome.
I
mean, that's a highlight day. What's bad is when you bring 25 in and you're not in the top 10. But
that's the killer. Or you bring in 25 and you end up in second place.
Exactly.
That's BS right there. That's a bunch of BS. Hey, Billy Mack, we're up against a break right here. We're going to pay a quick bill, and we're going to come back and have some more fun. What do you say?
I ain't going nowhere.
Awesome.
I'm right here with the Cartoon Network.
Billy Mack in the Billy Mack Man Cave. Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television, the Bass Buzz. We'll be right back. Keep it locked. B.A.S.S Custom Lures by Phil Hunter, quickly becoming the most sought-after custom balsa baits in the industry, from the Little Hunter to the Squeaky P. These baits are pure quality, handcrafted, hand-carved, and hand-painted. But most importantly, they flat-out catch fish. B.A.S.S Custom Lures has a bait for any situation in a magnitude of colors. Check out the old school, straighter, and PH Custom series at phcustomlures.com. That's phcustomlures.com. Hot dog! Yes, sir. Welcome back to Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. It's the Bass Buzz. I'm Pat Renwick. This is the Popcorn Whitaker.
Hello.
He caught the biggest bass ever on Lake Michigan shorelines, caught by a guy with an awesome red beard. This guy right here, the Popcorn Whitaker. This dude over here, JP High, and our buddy Bobby Bergeron, we're back with Billy McDonald. Yeah! Woo! They love you, Billy.
Let's keep it rolling.
You are a fan favorite. There is no doubt about it. No cabe duda, as they say in Espanol. No cabe duda. No cabe duda. Hey, we got a new rule here. There's a new rule. It's called
No cabe duda.
It's called no cabe duda. It's called 3 rods on deck, 1 in hand. 3 rods on deck, 1 in hand. Tell me what those 4 rods are. The 3 on the deck, the 1 in hand. What those rods are and what you got tied on them.
Got 2 jigs, a slither rig, and then a sexy dog.
What?
Go fishing.
2 jigs, a slither rig, and a sexy dog.
He didn't hesitate.
Yeah, I mean you know, and that's going to cover the bases.
That's going to right now this time of year. You got that right.
Hey, fall fishing kind of sucks sometimes, though, don't it?
Early fall, late September, 1st of October. From there on, it gets awesome. Yeah. Everybody wants to go sit in a tree stand, me included. But that's when the fishing ties on. It's good.
These guys are all excited because our Chicago Cubs right now are playing in the playoff game here.
It's 4-0.
It's 4-0. Who? Cubs up 4-0.
Well, it's going to be a neighbors World Series.
Yeah.
Indians and the Cubs.
Yeah, I guess so.
I heard the Indians qualified a while ago.
They're pretty good.
Yeah,
they're pretty good.
Ryan's all excited. In fact, he caught that smallmouth that actually ate the goat that cursed the Cubs. So
that's true.
That is why the Cubs are going to win today.
There's a horn sticking out of his gills.
That is why they're good. Bobby, what the heck did you wanted to ask Billy something? What's going on?
Hey, Billy. Next week I'm heading up to Kentucky Lake. A lot of local guys are, too, for the end of the year Tournament of the Champions. What do you recommend doing up there at Kentucky Lake? What are some tips you could give some of our viewers and me especially?
Red-eyed shad, sexy dog, and a jig or some type of a plastic bait. But the thing of it is, the lake's extremely low. So if you don't know where you're going, make sure you stay in those cans. But I'd be looking for them shallow bars, that's out there close to the deep water. Just run and watch the birds. When you see the birds and you start seeing them shad flickering, pull in there and fish. If you're not seeing that, keep on rolling.
Thank you, Billy.
That's what your buddy Jason Lambert just told us too.
Yeah, the grass is gone. There is no grass.
That's the
and why it's gone, I have no idea. But there's no grass all the way down to New Johnsonville. There's no grass.
Wow.
So it was there early in the spring. I don't know if they had some high water and they pulled it hard, but there is no grass now.
It's bless you.
Bless you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Popcorn.
That was a big one.
Off.
Yeah. Popcorn got all crazy right there. Hey, why is the world record bass so elusive, Billy?
Oh, the pressure.
The pressure.
I mean, you got to look when they caught that fish, whatever, 1930s.
32 or 4, George W. Perry.
Yeah, there wasn't that many people fishing, and everybody fished from the bank, basically. I mean, they weren't out there. But now, everybody's beating them to death. I mean, you can't go anywhere. I'm very blessed that I get to fish during the week, but I'm amazed when I go to the ramp. I don't think anybody works. There's people on the lake all the time.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's almost like we're fishing in Japan these days.
Yeah. The smallmouth record, I think that's the next one to fall.
What is that? Do you guys? I can't think of what.
11 pounds or something like
11,
that.
yeah, 11.
11.
Out of Dale Hollow, right?
Yeah, Dale Howell.
Correct.
11 something.
Got an 8.4 out of St. Clair.
Oh,
You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
really?
Holy smokes. That's
Yeah, I mean it was a giant.
That's a hogletta.
Yeah, it's a tubber.
What did you say? What did you say when you got your hand on that fish?
I didn't
What's the
say
first
anything.
thing?
I had a guy with me, and it was funny because I set the hook and I seen it come up and it just kind of rolled.
Yeah.
And went back down. I told him, I said, "Why don't you get that net out? We were practicing." He goes, "How big is it?" I go, "I don't know." He netted it and set it in the bottom of the boat. We both just looked at the fish and looked at each other, and we didn't say anything for probably 10 seconds. And finally, he goes, "I've never seen a largemouth that big."
That is nuts, and I mean, and that is a special feeling. That's a funny feeling, Billy Mack. When I don't know if you remember, I talked to you a little earlier in the year. I was down at Kentucky Lake right after you guys left there.
Yeah.
And I ended up going on a run from the dam all the way south of New Johnsonville and flipping those willows out there. And I think you were kind of doing the same thing. You were just a little further north, maybe. But I mean, I caught a fish that was the biggest. I used to live in Florida, and I caught a fish that was the biggest bass that I have caught since my Florida days, and it was 8+, maybe 9-pound fish. And I just really didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say.
Well, down there too, New Johnsonville, Perryville area, most of those tournaments take a 10 or 11 pounder to win big bass. I mean, they've got those Florida strains down there, and they're just a different animal without a doubt.
Yeah, they're crazy. They're absolutely crazy. Hey, Billy, I heard that you used to be kind of a hooligan when you were a young guy. Is that true?
Oh, I've always had a good time.
What's the most trouble you ever been in, Billy Mack? What's the most trouble you ever been in?
That I can legally talk about?
Yeah.
I never was in a whole lot of trouble. I was pretty slick. I was able to get out of trouble a lot. But no, I used to have a lot of fun, though, without a doubt.
Nice.
Billy's a badass too.
He
This
is.
a badass show.
We're surrounded by badasses today.
Yeah, this is a badass show.
There's no doubt about it. Hey, move that camera around a little bit, and let's take a look at that Ranger boat a little more. Let's see what you're playing with there.
Well, got a couple Raymarine units there.
You got a couple TV sets right there.
Yeah, I got 12-inch color TVs. I got a few plain old boxes I'm playing with right now, trying to get everything set up to go. And then I got junk laying everywhere on the front deck. So
don't go too fast. That's gonna blow out.
No, it'll be secured.
And you got a whole
and
wardrobe.
Then you can see my stock supply over there on the shelves.
Yeah, I mean that is awesome. Being a professional bass fisherman is awesome.
Heck yeah.
I mean it's great, Billy. I mean let's take a step back again, and we're going back to the roots. You're right now at the roots. Now we're jumping to where you are today. How awesome is it to have all that tackle at your disposal?
Yeah, very blessed. That's the only thing I can say. I mean, people send you stuff to try and to test, and with Strike King, I'm very fortunate. We get to test a lot of the lures ahead of time, and which is really cool that you get to play with different things before anybody else gets them.
Do you ever get overwhelmed? You got so much stuff. Do you ever get overwhelmed on what to bring?
Yeah, you do, but I try to keep it fairly simple. I mean, I know I got boxes laying out everywhere, but when I leave the Costa Championship, I'm going straight to Strike King for the Outdoor Riders event.
Nice.
So I'm packing for 2 different events. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm putting in the boat and what I'm not. But like Table Rock, I mean, it's going to be a jig. It's going to be a drop shot deal, spinnerbait, and a sexy dog. I mean, that's basically it. And what you got to do is just figure out where that game works and then take it and go from there. And I'll probably have a little shallow 1.5 on it as well.
The thing that we share in common, Billy Mack, you, myself, the rest of these guys, your fans, our viewers out there, the thing that we share in common, the common bond is we love bass fishing. We love bass fishing. Now, even though I love bass fishing so much, there are days on the water when I kind of want to go home. And I know that I don't necessarily want to go home, but I start having thoughts in my head, like crazy thoughts, You know that about me. But one of the indicators is that when I start thinking about what I'm going to have for dinner then that's an indication that I'm having a bad day. That means I'm having a bad day on the water. What's one
I
of
was
the
playing that out the night before.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Thanks. That's tip of the week right there. Tip of the week. Plan dinner the day before. But what's something that goes on in Billy Mac's mind when you know that you're having a rough day? Besides that you're not catching fish, what pops in the noodle right there?
But, you know, a bad day is not necessarily a bad thing as long as it's practice day. You're eliminating a lot of dead water. And, you know, we've only got 3 days to put the game plan together, but, you know, as long as you keep moving, you can eliminate a lot of water really quick. And the key, too, is being able to network. You know, you got to have one or two other buddies that's on the tournament trail that you can bounce things off of. You don't have to get their GPS coordinates. You don't have to know what creek they're in, but the guy says, hey, you know, I'm in the last bend in the backs of the creeks. You know, and I'm catching them from their back, or, you know, I'm catching them in the middle for secondary points, and it'll clue you in a little bit, and you got to be able to do that to keep it going.
I mean, and again, you're not necessarily squirming for dots, but you're trusting in a guy that you know ain't a sandbagger.
I got a couple buddies that I wholeheartedly. I mean, I'll turn my units on, show them everything I got, and they'll do the same with me.
Yeah,
so.
and that is important. You get good friends in bass fishing, and of course, it brings us all together. There's no doubt about it. Hey, Billy, you're gotcha. Indiana is a tough place to fish. Okay, I mean we know we're from Indiana.
Sure.
Northwest Indiana, the south end of Chicago here. There's some real good fishing, but 9 times out of 10, it's a tough place to catch them. You got to work. It's a grind.
Yep.
Have you, growing up in Indiana and cutting your teeth in Indiana, has that made you a better fisherman when you travel the country?
It does when there's really tough tournaments. When there's a grinder tournament, you know, we're used to fishing for 2 or 3, 4 or 5 bites a day. And these guys from, you know, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, Arkansas, those guys, I mean, it puts them in a tailspin because they're used to catching, you know, tons of fish. But then when you get into a slugfest tournament, you know, shoot, you're from Indiana, you go out there and you're starting to catch limits of 2.5 pounders and 3 pounders, and you're like, daggone, I'm on them.
Yeah.
And, you know, and these guys come in, and that's when those 18 to 25 pound bags just eat your lunch. So, but it does make you a better fisherman, especially in the tough situations.
No doubt about it.
During those tough tournaments, is there a bait or, I mean, it seems like I enjoy those tough tournaments as well from here, you know, fish all the, you know, I got 2 bites today. One was huge, but I got 2 bites. That was awesome to get 2 bites. And, but for me, it seems like on these tough tournaments, there's like one bait. For me, it's usually a jig or a frog, which I think is the same thing, basically, just on top. But for me, it seems like that. Do you find that as well, that there's a certain technique that kind of prevails during tough conditions?
When it's tough, I'm like you. I'm going to pick a jig up, or you know, I'll have a rage bug on, something that's just slow, and I can really pick something apart with. But when it's tough, you know, that I think that's the deal. You just got to pick an area and nestle up into it and grind it out. I mean, that's the deal.
Just soak it and let them choke it, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
And
you got to keep it wet.
There it is. There it is, right there. TM, right there. TM, Billy Mac phrase. Hey, I want to tell you right now that thank you for being involved with Lucas Marine Products, because and this you know, we're not sponsored by Lucas or anything else, but the majority of the people that I know, including myself, including the gentleman in this room, those Lucas Marine Products, that, for lack of a better term, Billy, that's the shiznit. That stuff is awesome, and you're involved firsthand in bringing us those products.
They're slick.
When we started, you know, there was no marine products when I come to them. And, you know, whether you're using the slick mist, yeah, it's very slick.
Love that
but
stuff.
The thing of it is, and let me make this perfectly clear. Every oil that we make exceeds any manufacturer's warranty. That's a myth. If the manufacturer tells you you have to burn their oil, they have to give it to you for free.
Wow.
That is the law. It's called the Magnuson Moss Act.
Write that down, guys.
The whole deal of it is everything we make exceeds the warranty. So you have no problems running Lucas oil in the brand new Mercuries. I run it in my brand new G2. You can run it in the Yamahas. You can run it in the Suzukis. It meets and exceeds everybody else's requirements.
It's above and beyond.
The very best that's out there.
And I love me some slick mist that like Ryan Whitaker was just talking about. Now, what I can't figure out is what the hell does that smell like? I want to drink that stuff every time. I mean, like, is it like juicy fruit or something? What is that? What's this?
It's got a sweet smell to it. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'll let the cat out of the bag here a little bit. We've got 7 new products coming out with Luz. So we're going to have line conditioner.
Okay.
That'll be co-branded Lucas and Luz.
Wow.
We got spinning reel grease. We got bait caster grease. We got bait caster oils. We got a cleaner. We've got the whole deal.
So it's like
it's going to make a difference.
It's Lucas/Luz.
That's it. We've done a co-brand with them, and it's exclusive to Luz.
And you know what, Billy? I can't help but think that you got a little bit to do with this this conjunction junction right here.
I worked on it for about a year and a half to get it done. To get all the right parties involved and the chemist and then Luz and all them. And my boss says they took it from there. But all I did is I married the two together and helped put the game plan, got it going. So
Billy, I must commend you because not a lot of people realize this, but you are a perfect example of someone that really works for their sponsors. Works for their sponsors. You have a lot of tough tournaments. Things don't always go your way. But again, bringing it back, you are very blessed and very fortunate to have amazing sponsors that you are working your ass off for.
I stay busy. I stay on the road about 240, 250 days a year. So, I stay busy. There's no
over the years of the old this whole straight cast ordeal, man. We're a big fan of you, dude.
I appreciate it, And I got to say something, too, here. My wife's gone through some struggles over the last year. So this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So all ladies out there, feel for them lumps and save the bumps. Come on. So get out there and get checked and make sure you keep them.
There it is. And we're glad to hear that everything went okay with your wife. For sure. We saw you there. Hey, Billy, any other last words you want to say before we get out of here?
Nah, just, guys, get out there and fish every chance you can. And all these young kids out there, fish with as many different people, and the older people too. Fish with as many different people as you can, because
best of luck on your hunting trip.
We're gonna kill some stuff. I promise you that.
And you know my address, so send me those back straps and that summer sausage. I'm looking forward to that, and we of course are looking forward to having you back on the show very soon.
Anytime, man. It's an honor to be on there with you guys. I appreciate it.
Awesome. That is Billy McDonald. He is a true gem of the sport. Thank you so much. We'll catch up with you, Billy.
Thanks Billy. Guys. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Hey, Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television, the Bass Buzz concludes. And you know what? That's the end of it. You guys got any last words for anybody out there? How about you guys?
Bula bula.
Bula bula and go Cubs. And thank
Death
God.
by Unga Bunga.
Go Cubs.
Yeah. Thank God you caught the smallmouth that ate the goat.
Yes.
Are the Cubs still winning?
4-0.
4-0. There it is. Hey, we're off next week. We're taking a little break, but we'll be back November 2nd with more Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television.
That's going to be a good one, too.
Yes. Thank you so much to Jason Lambert, to Jason Christie, to Billy Mack, and especially to all you out there who watch the show. And don't forget, you can always go back and watch past episodes
on StraightCast.net.
All of them.
StraightCast.net, and podcasts are now up on the website.
Also YouTube, StraightCast.
You subscribe to the channel while you're at it. Well, yeah, subscribe. Subscribe like we do in the region. StraightCast Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm Pat Renwick. Catch you in a couple weeks.
There ain't no other way I know. water is my playground. Well, what about you? It's now or never. Let's get the boat out and take the stray cast. The fish are all around. It's now or never. So put the motor down. Let's take the stray cast. We're gonna fish it out.